time for a completely unnecessary podcast super show, which I think I forgot to do last month, for Tuesday.
What, to call it a super show?
Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, yes.
Oh.
I did, Ian, because remember I did the little joke about it being the first podcast because you were short hair, clean shaven, which you are again.
Still am.
It's 2014 Ian here. I'm Ian Ferguson. I'm Pat Country. On the show today, we had a lot of stuff happen over the past weekend. Switch 2 released. We had Summer Games Fest. We had PlayStation State of Play in the same day the Switch came out, just to tease Nintendo or something happened like that.
We've got a whole goddamn Amico segment coming your way.
Yeah. We were putting it off for months. Like, let's wait till we have some meat on the bone. We got some meat on the bone there. You have a good weekend, Ian?
I did. I went and took some pictures, and I painted some robots, and I baked some cookies.
What'd you take pictures of?
I take pictures of flowers.
Oh,
yeah.
You should go out with Frank to the fucking desert and look at the flowers. He goes to like some of those shows.
Yeah,
like flower shows.
There's
be his flower buddy.
There's a little garden tucked away around here.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I took a walk over there.
I was there once.
It's nice. It's really quiet, and no one's really ever over there. And yeah, I just took pictures. It was really, really peaceful and nice. And I'm looking forward to going to the fair maybe 2 weeks from now.
God, I forgot the fair's coming back already. God,
it's already started.
When does it go until?
It goes until July 6th this year, I think.
It's usually around 4th of July.
Yeah.
It's like a full month usually. The Del Mar Fair, if you don't know it.
But it used to only be closed on Mondays, I think, and now it's closed Monday, Tuesday. So it's only open Wednesday through Sunday.
5 days a week?
Yeah.
Instead of 7?
I could be wrong. It might have always been that way, but I thought it was 6 days a week.
I haven't gone in 10 years.
Really?
With the X. Yeah, I have not gone.
Wow.
I mean, who am I going to go with? By myself? I'm not going to go.
I didn't know if Frank went. I mean, no. I don't go every year. I usually go every other year.
Last time I went, they had the model train thing on the inside of one of those houses there.
They usually do. I love that.
With the old guys there talking about it.
Oh man, if you get them talking.
I mean, it's dying out.
Every year I get them talking, and they like beg me to come to meetups and stuff. And I'm like, I don't.
Because when they're gone, there's no one else that's going to be carrying on the tradition.
Well, the guy even told me, he knows this. Like the one guy I was talking to, he's old and he realizes this, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you really got to come out to these meets. And I'm like, where are they? And they're like up in Escondido and shit like that. But he's like, yeah, the old guy's getting out of the hobby. They're selling this stuff. And if you go to buy it new right now, it's super expensive still, but they just sell it for whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's tempting, but I don't have a place for it.
Exactly. Like, well, maybe in the future you will. But it's one of those things where, like we haven't seen the next generation pick it up. It was the father's generation. And then my generation was like, yeah, this is cool when we were kids, but we grew out of it pretty quickly. And that was it.
I'm really entering my middle age. Model trains, wargaming.
Is wargaming considered middle age? Well, I guess that's like see my father's generation.
It's robot wargaming, but it's still wargaming.
So when my father and his generation, Frank's generation, got into Avalon Hill stuff, they would have been early 20s when Avalon Hill got big in the mid to late 60s.
I just always think of it as like one of those things that it's one of those hobbies. A lot of the gaming hobbies. Yeah. Like the miniature gaming and the war gaming, it always seems to me that it's something that is occupied largely by teenagers and then like 40-somethings. People who have the time and the money, and then people who have the time and the money.
I think you probably know more than me, but I've talked to my friend Tommy, who knew literally some of the first gen of the D&D players in like the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. They were older.
Oh, yeah.
They were older folks. They weren't all, kiddies and stuff. That didn't happen until...
Well, and what it was people who, when they were young, had gotten into the earlier forms of wargaming, and
like
they only had, you only had a few rule sets or things to mess with. So, and there wasn't anything really fantasy.
Yes,
which is why they kind of they built a D&D out of chainmail.
I think I have an Avalon Hill era game. It's not Avalon Hill. I think I got one to swap me that is medieval characters, but it's not fantasy.
Right. That's exactly it. Like there was no fantasy or anything like that. Really.
They didn't think that far. Like, okay, we want to do. Frank always talked about the one that was like the Peloponnesian War one, going back 2,500 years. And obviously, there's a ton of World War II ones. There's the Civil War. Gettysburg one's one of the most famous ones. I think that's actually what they used to help prototype D&D. They actually used that board, stuff like that. So it's cool. It's cool. I got into, speaking of World War II, that it basically not wasted, because it's literally one of the best TV shows ever done. A half an episode, I was catching a Band of Brothers a week and a half ago, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Now I have to rewatch the entire series because I hadn't rewatched Band of Brothers in like 15 years. I have the original like tin DVD set from like 2001 or whatever. And if anyone out there has not seen Band of Brothers, it is not easy to watch the entire thing, but you should at least watch it once in your life. It is an extremely important series to watch, especially since now everyone, I think officially everyone from Easy Company, they're all gone. None of them are with us. And when they filmed it, in the early 2000s, a lot of them were still alive, and they narrate, through at the beginning of each episode before it goes in, and you don't find out spoilers. The reason it's so poignant, the series, it's all based on all the true experiences of the paratroopers that paratrooped, behind enemy lines into Normandy. Is that at the end of it, all the characters that you're following, you now see like the real people that were the characters, and it hits you like a gut punch.
Right. Like
I just saw all these people suffer, dramatically and go through this stuff, and now they're still alive telling us the stories, and it's like one of the most important series ever made, and it's beautifully done. It like at the time of all the actors in it, now so many are famous from it. You see like cameos and small parts from like Tom Hardy. Michael Fassbender has a bit part as one of the members of the company. James McAvoy. The biggest star at the time when that came out was literally David Schwimmer as the asshole lieutenant in that. And then he's not in it for more than like the first episode. So it's really interesting that it was that well received. But when you think about it, all those young actors were not established yet that were starting off in that. Have you seen the entirety?
No.
You have not? Okay, and you're killing me. You got to do it at some point. Even if you're not into big war films and stuff, it doesn't.
Well, I'm in my 40s now. It's time to watch a war film or two.
It in no way glorifies war.
Right. Good.
And they walk that balance, which I was talking about with Alex Vassiani from SoCal, which we'll talk about SoCal quickly in the beginning. The reason one of the reasons I do not like modern Star Wars stuff is that, and in their marketing, in their Disneyland, they have romanticized the Empire. They have romanticized basically the fascist sort of thing that you should not be on the side of. You should not want to go to that shitty fucking hotel. Remember, you had the ability to choose which side you were on? Like, that is not what Lucas intended or what the original movies intended. You're not supposed to. Fandom
is fandom, and fantasy is fantasy. And I understand. Like, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with liking, a villain or something like that. But what it does is it completely destroys any meaning to the original. When you Disneyfy both the bad guy and the good guy, then any meaning that the original Star Wars trilogy had is kind of shot to shit.
And that's not what the intent was. You're never supposed to rally behind, the people that are brutal fascists and kill off populations, stuff like that. That's not. So anyway, the point of and Band of Brothers, they do a fine line of, they don't make out the Germans to be over the top cartoon villains. And they also don't try to have you sympathize with them. They almost keep them totally faceless until the last episode when they're like surrendering, and then you get to hear like the German general talk to his troops after they surrender. That's the only time they humanize the Germans, as at the end when the war's over. So they did a great job with that. Not have like they could have said, "Oh, here's an episode from a German's point of view." It's like, no, they don't fuck with that. It's just like they are the faceless enemy that we have to defeat. And they're not comically over the top.
And that makes it more about,
it's more realistic. That's what it was.
Sure.
Yeah. So then in the last episode, when the war's winding down, then you see like the retribution side and things like that. And it's interesting. I would definitely say I'm totally interested in you watching it if you've never seen it before.
Yeah, no, I'll watch it.
It's 10 episodes. Each episode's like between 45 minutes and an hour. And it's worth it. Sorry. So how's that SoCal Gaming Expo this past weekend? Thanks for everyone for coming out. And buying an N64 guidebook, or buying what our pal Alex Fasciani sold out. He brought all like DS, Wii games, PS3 games. He had the Dragon Quest DS game. He sold everything. He sold like 85%. And then I said to him in the end, "Hey, dude, if this stuff you have left is worth $500, go to a vendor and sell it all for like, hey, $350, take it, vendor."
Yeah,
and that's what he did for the rest of it. and he got rid of the rest of it. So he's very happy. He brought like a 4-foot table. He set it up. He said, I don't need a table pad. I can just have the stuff at my feet and sell it to people. I said, that's ridiculous, Alex. Just find a table. And he found a table, and he had a great time selling and vending. He's a good vendor because he'll like recommend the games and why they're cool. It's all games he's played.
Right.
He's bought all those games like basically brand new going back 20 years. You know what I mean? And I had a fun panel. Now at my panels this year, I do NES trivia. I didn't think I told you what the questions were, but Alex really thought...
I didn't even know you did NES trivia.
I'm starting this year for the 4th anniversary.
Neat.
So I picked out 12 questions. I thought of them. And then he actually... I said to Alex, you're going to get 4 of these right. He got none of them right. I think he got 1 right. He said they were a good mix because some are like trickery. I'll just give you one example. Okay, I'll give you one example. At my panel, if you're going to come to my panel, don't answer it. I said, what was the only... I won't give you the answer. I said, what was the only licensed game that then went to unlicensed and then became licensed again? And he and the same person at the panel gave the same incorrect answer. They said Punch-Out. Because in their head, they flipped the loss of the Mike Tyson's likeness with it being unlicensed. And it's interesting that both him and someone at my panel gave the same exact wrong answer. That means it's a good question on some level because it kind of tricks your head a little bit. Mm-hmm. That was interesting. I won't give you the answer. Some of you might know the answer. Some of you might not. If Ian doesn't know it, he's disbarred and banned from Castle Country. But no, it was a fun time. And if you want to hear more about the stuff I picked up at my feet here, I'll just do a quick spoiler. Got a couple of OG Transformers figures. Go to patreon.com/CUpodcast. I can talk about all the nice stuff I picked up at SoCal Gaming Expo. But thanks for having me out again, fellas. What else is going on, Ian? Summer Games was over the weekend. All this stuff happened while I was at the SoCal Gaming Expo.
So Summer Games Fest happened, and there were a ton of announcements and highlights on things. And there was even some stuff that I'm kind of interested in. There's way too much to go through all of it.
It's the new E3, basically, from Jeff Keighley.
Well, that's what he's always tried to make it. Some games that I was not expecting to get sequels announced did, like Code Vein, which was a vampire, like Souls-like that Bandai Namco put out. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which I'm very excited for because it's Sonic Mario Kart, but they're going to have like SpongeBob SquarePants is going to be a racer.
Really? Okay.
So Hatsune Miku is going to be a racer.
So it's like the recently canceled WB fighting game.
So Sega's doing it, but yeah, it sounds like they're pulling in all sorts of weird people to...
You're getting you pretty much have to.
So
for Sega, yeah.
Well, no, if it's Sonic Racing, the amount of fucking Sonic characters is ridiculous.
Yeah,
the fact that they're opening it up.
But you want to draw in the non-Sonic fans, to be SpongeBob. There might be people that buy just for SpongeBob.
Arc System Works announced Marvel Tokon Fighters, I think. Basically the people who do Guilty Gear. This is actually pretty big.
I saw it's a 4-on-4 fighting game.
It's a 4-on-4 fighting game, and it looks great.
But some could be you choose which ones you want to be assist characters only versus the tag partner.
I am not sure. Okay. I just saw the trailer and I wasn't paying that close attention, but it looks great.
They also showed that during the State of Play, I believe.
I like Arc System Works. And the interesting thing is just that the Marvel fighting game license, after
not being with Capcom,
years, got ripped from Capcom.
Decades.
Decades. And it's because they dropped the ball so fucking bad on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
What was so bad about that?
So Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I think did well. It was, well liked. But Infinite just came out and it was like bare bones and loaded with DLC.
I know they changed the art style.
They changed the art style, and it was like the roster was really small, and I can't remember. It was like really focused on just it almost felt more like a I think it was almost more like a Street Fighter Marvel superheroes kind of lineup than it was like the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3 where it tries to encompass
like everything.
Everything. But yeah, it never took off.
I mean, missed the mark.
Honestly, when it was announced, the Marvel Tokon Fighters, my first thought was, there hasn't been a Marvel fighting game since Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like you
forgot about Infinite.
I forgot about.
I just remember Infinite coming out. I'm like, why does it not look cartoony like the last ones? Why did they change it to look like a modern Mortal Kombat game? It was just such a strange choice.
And I heard it was. I heard it played decently, but Yeah, I can't remember all the other reasons why it failed. But anyways, yeah, it's interesting to see Marvel, the Marvel license with the new developer. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, was there any other ones or no?
Yeah, the big one for me that I have to talk about, and it made me fully like screech and stop when I came by it, is Wu-Tang Clan announced, presented by Ghostface Killah, Rise of the Deceiver, which is an action RPG. It's an action game.
Okay.
That looks really good. It's like Afrofuturist in its vibes, and
Afrofuturist.
The art style is really neat, and
is it cel shaded? Kind of ish?
Yeah, kind of cel shaded ish, and you have to rescue all the members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay, that's cute.
I'm gonna fucking play the hell out of it. I cannot wait for that.
Was ODB
game
in it somewhere?
I think he's shown on because the trailer starts with showing all of them in like a mural spray painted on the side of a wall.
Are they gonna voice it?
Yeah, and apparently, like, you know, they're making new music for it as well. So it's gonna have older music, remixed versions of their older tunes, and then some new music too.
I wonder. I mean, Wu-Tang Clan is like for older farts like us now, almost like versus the younger crowd. I wonder if they saw this and I'm like, who's the Wu-Tang Clan?
Well, they're doing their like supposedly their final tour this year.
Okay, because they're all probably 50 by now, right? Just about.
Yeah, I think Ghostface, who's probably my favorite rapper of all time, I think he's like somewhere between 53 and 55. I know he's in his 50s.
Well, what is it? What's his name? Redman. Well, he was acting in a bunch of stuff for a while.
Redman's not Wu-Tang.
Is that?
No, but he's buddies with Method Man, who is Wu-Tang.
He's Wu-Tang adjacent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Method Man and Redman did put out an album.
Okay, I got some credit. I know that. Okay.
No, I see. I see. As someone who does not listen to that, I see and understand your confusion.
Don't kill me, everyone. The fact that I know that,
I got it.
It gives me some credit in the comments.
I understand how you got there. You showed your work, and that's worth partial credit.
I wrote it down. He was good in what was the one with the Based on True Story? The one with Denzel, American Gangster. He was one of the crew with Russell Crowe.
Oh, was he?
He did a good job. That's the one I was like, wow. I think that I recognize. I'm like, yeah, he's the rapper guy, but he like has a good. He's like one of his like first like second command guys in that movie. You never saw American Gangster? Dude, American Gangster is great.
Oh, I'll watch it.
I saw it in the theaters. It was like 2008, 9. Anyway,
so there's that, which I'm very excited about.
What's this controversy here? Splitgate.
I'm gonna get there real quick.
Okay.
The last one I want to mention that looks kind of interesting, but I did not see the trailer yet, so I don't know if it's like over the top. Is there's a game that looks like Punch Out, but it's all done with puppets, called Felt That,
and it's literally the same perspective, like third person. You're jumping. That, click it for me, or I'll look it up while you talk. Feltgate.
Felt That. Splitgate is what we're talking about next. So there was a whole controversy. Splitgate, the original game, is kind of like I would say a mix between Halo and Portal.
Mix between Halo and Portal, so it's first person
shooting with portals.
With portals you jump through. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I played the original game like once on Steam. Enjoyed it. First-person shooters are just generally not my thing. So there's a second one coming out, and the head of the Splitgate 2 boss came out, and this is when everything. I mean, with this political climate and everything going on in LA at the time that this was happening.
If this was in LA, that's not good timing.
Yep. So he comes out with a "Make FPS Great Again" hat on.
It's not a red hat, but it has the same sort of like.
Yes.
Make America Great Again. Fun.
And people did not find that amusing. And the other thing is all of his like advertisement for the game and talking about the game has been the type where you just talk trash about all the other games that are out there.
Oh,
so
really?
people don't. They already find this guy kind of shitty.
It was kind of low class.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of so people talked about it, and he came out online afterwards. After all the people were complaining, and then took this picture, put it on social media.
That was after there was blowback?
Yeah. And basically told people...
He put the hat on after there was blowback.
After the blowback, he took that picture and posted it.
Oh, God.
and basically just doubled down and was like, it's just a head, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's been all the talk, and like the player base has plummeted. They announced beta, or they like when they did this. So basically, all the people who had kind of been playing in the lead up, this happens, and no one's talking about the game. They're talking about how the guy's a fucking asshole, and the player base just cratered. I mean, he destroyed his game by being a dick.
So he went anti-woke and went broke?
Yep. And then today I saw this
I see this announcement. He said, no excuses, I'm sorry.
Yep.
The repercussions of my actions coming home, huh?
The shareholders probably threatened to
who's the publisher of this?
I don't know. Maybe there isn't shareholders. Maybe investors, I should say.
Oh, he's the CEO.
Yeah.
1047 Games.
Yeah.
So if you're the CEO, you could have investors, you have a board of directors still that say, you fucking asshole, what have you done? This game's been worked on for years, potentially. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in dev costs, and now you just fucked it up because you're an asshole. Like, is that what happens?
I'm assuming that's what happened. It doesn't really say.
You're probably tired of seeing my face by now, but
That's from his tweet. So he put out a 3-minute apology on Twitter. I mean, that's better than nothing, but holy shit.
Better than nothing, but
dude,
the whole
are you
thing is
thinking about?
Like 2 days, ago when he's not, he's smiling and not backing down. This is clearly someone had a come to Jesus meeting with him over business realities.
Oh yeah, someone said you're going to apologize right fucking now. You're out in your ass.
Yep.
Like that's holy shit. Wow.
So, anyways, that was Summer Games Fest.
Los cojones, Ian, on that.
All very interesting. There was a fucking green games showcase that advertised AI slop, which was fucking hilarious.
What makes it green?
Yeah. Oh, well, they said, and this game's all about like finding a way to coexist with nature, and then they just throw up this fucking trailer for this slop. Well, you saw the trailer for that absolute awful AI game.
Yeah, I saw some of it. Yeah, it did not look great because one was like a card game. And all the art was it didn't match.
Nope.
It just looked cheap. It was a solitaire game. Yeah, it looked terrible.
In good news, although it's a little bit older now, Giant Bomb was sold to Giant Bomb. Just a brief update. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the rights and the name were sold to the ex-Giant Bomb employees. From which was what we posited almost a year ago. Like, hopefully, this is what happens. We talked about it Long Island last year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you didn't. Me and Frank talked about it. That's right. That's right. You injured yourself.
Yep.
I talked about it, Frank. I had a semi-argument with Frank about it.
Did that same injury last week.
Stop injuring yourself, Ian. I love you too much. Stop injuring yourself.
Yeah.
Wear like a hard cast on your foot and ankles. You don't fuck with yourself.
I know.
Oh man. It's like someone that like cuts themselves. That's what it sounds like to me.
You got to be careful of cutting yourself on the razor sharp deals offered at ultimatenintendo.com.
There it is. At ultimatenintendo.com, you can order an RBI baseball sticker. You can get the enamel CU podcast pin and other stuff. Certain NES and SNES guidebooks. No NES books. Until next year sometime. People keep asking me about it. All that at ultimatenintendo.com. I'm streaming on Twitch on Wednesday. Country Code Ian is at Pixel Sickle on Thursday. Spinning the tunes. The greatest tunes of the 90s and aughts, probably. Maybe some in the teens. There, right?
There's a lot of modern stuff.
Some of the house stuff, I don't know. I don't know the house scene.
House from the 80s to modern day.
Okay, there you go. The latest and greatest from the 80s, 90s, and aughts. There you go. And I'll be at Too Many Games in 2.5 weeks. Jesus.
2 weeks.
How did I used to do like 3 in a month? I used to do every other week for some of these conventions for like a whole month, and I was just dead.
2 weeks. Yeah, you used to do it in the fucking fall, and it was
abysmal.
Ridiculous.
It was like, oh, Retroballooza. Oh, now PRG. Oh, now Syracuse.
Absolutely silly behavior.
Well, I needed the cash for Castle Country. I needed to, as Frank would say, I needed to earn. So I'll be returning at Too Many Games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 27th, the 28th, and 29th in scenic Oaks, PA. Not far from where, it was a bad winter for at Valley Forge for Washington and the troops. Wasn't a fun winter there. That's literally like 15 minutes away, I think, Valley Forge. It's not far. 15, 20 minutes maybe. Pac-Man donuts. Pac-Man just turned 45 last month. I think it's May 20th is the official birthday. Or I think it's around the 20th. Krispy Kreme was giving away donuts free donuts as I rolled out a new Pac-Man collab. Pac-Man Party Donut, an original glazed donut piped with yellow buttercream flavored icing, sprinkled with celebration sprinkles, and topped with a Pac-Man piece. This
is so old that I don't think we can get these anymore.
Team Ghost Donut. Well, you could have got it. Maybe you buy them and you preserve them and you sell them on eBay in 10 years. Team Ghost Donut. And then they got the strawberry.
That's the one I want.
The strawberry power berry donut. It looks like a cherry or a berry. An unglazed shell donut filled with strawberry flavored cream. God, that must be sweet. Dipped in red icing. Oh my God. And topped with white sprinkles and green leaf icing. My mouth is watering and it shouldn't be because that will kill me. Ian wants those. So that was a limited time thing, it seemed like. May 12th to 18th. They gave away 45,000 of those. I wonder what that was all about. It's just for the anniversary. You know, 5s and 0s, so you won't see this probably again for another 5 years for the 50th.
Nope.
May 22nd, that's the official Pac-Man or Puck-Man birthday there. Got to watch the video game years for more information on that. These all-new Pac-Man donuts are sweetest in multiplayer mode. So press start in a dozen and chomp on a maze of flavors with family, friends, and coworkers, said Dave Skina, Krispy Kreme Chief Growth Officer in a news release. Okay. I love the news. I love the PR speak for this stuff. Oh, they're giving away, you know, I don't know. Was there like a big thing? Did Namco do anything huge for the 45th?
I don't think so.
They're always at Comic-Con. Maybe they'll have something in Comic-Con.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, Namco. Darth Vader AI debacle, speaking of that. This is the danger, which is not surprising, of when you license someone's voice who's passed away, in this case, James Earl Jones, to use in your future project or game. The estate price says, oh, yeah, sure. Fortnite, it's big. You know, sure, we can have a fucking AI Darth Vader that people talk to and it responds. So guess what happens? The worst of humanity comes out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
This story is from Ars Technica. Yeah, so people having it cursed back, racial slurs, things like that in the game. I just don't see why. Like, you do not see this coming. You don't see this coming when this gets licensed out. Like, immediately. Like, who at Disney would not see this coming immediately? We're like, oh, we're going to license out Darth Vader with an AI voice that can say whatever it responds to. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So, of course, they disabled it lickety split.
Yep.
What are we fucking doing? How quickly were they hopefully fired at Disney, who did not have, like, even ask, hey, is there something that we make sure it doesn't answer certain things, or
put some guardrails on it.
Yeah, have some generic fucking answers to things that aren't. Hey, we'll give you like 50 to 100 standard answers, and after that, well, that wouldn't be AI. We'll just record 50 to 100 different answers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like just terrible. When I saw that, I was like, what are we fucking doing?
It's
especially since Fortnite players aren't going to be respectful. A lot of them because they're younger anyway. You know, like Anyway, Randy Pitchford. Controversy, a lot of controversy happening.
This guy's always a shit. Gearbox chief Randy Pitchford responded to a fan who expressed concern about the prospect of paying $80 for Borderlands by saying, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen.
Jesus Christ, Randy.
Fucking Christ.
Is anyone named Randy Nice, by the way? Randy in my block was a bully of mine. He was like 2 years older. He'd bully me.
I don't want to condemn all Randys. I don't think I know any Randys.
Okay, I'm sorry. Randy in South Park's pretty good, the father. Stan's father. He's okay.
He's the only Randy I think of when I hear the name Randy.
He gets.
No, I do know a Randy. My friend's dad's name is Randy.
Is he nice?
He's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
okay.
All
I'm
right.
sorry for Randys out there. You're right. I have not met another Randy in my life except for the one as a kid.
Yeah.
It's not a common name, Randy. What is that short for?
Randall.
Randall?
Yeah.
Not Randolph?
It's I believe it's short for Randall, although my friend's dad is not a Randall. They're just a
Randy.
Randy.
I thought Randolph maybe one. No?
Maybe. That's probably right too.
Nice German name. Okay, where were we at with this?
I don't know. We're just saying Randy Pitchford's a piece of shit.
Here's the exchange. Randy, this game better not be. Was that a panel? Where was this at? Someone said to him, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And he said, A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. Okay, this is the only part where I'll give him a little bit of credit. He references old game prices like, wait, dude, they used to be expensive. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80.91 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. But here's the other caveat to that. The games cost more to produce back then. Like the physical games cost more versus digital, which costs is like nothing to produce a physical thing. So like that, the $80 cartridge, that cartridge probably had a special chip that it was like baked into the price.
Yes, and you have to also look at the. I mean, I've quoted that a lot too, but you have to look at how much. I mean, it was released yesterday, the day before. The industry in general is making the most money it's ever made, and it's the most layout. I mean, this is not charging more because they need to, because the cost of production is expensive. This is them charging more because. I mean, the entire video game industry on a AAA level is just run by greed at this point.
This is what I'm going to say to Randy. You need a PR person to communicate better, obviously, because this is the way you respond to this is like, listen, there's the easy way to say, listen, our dev times are a lot longer. We want to pay our workers fairly, not have them crunch. This leads to the longer cycles, which means we have to make up the extra cost. That would be a reasonable response. I think most would be like, okay.
It would be a lie, but it would be a response that people would go, oh, okay, and move on.
It may not be a lie. I don't know. Like maybe it takes longer. I don't know. Like
what I'm saying is the evidence is there that the corporations are not doing that.
But sure. But let's say if they were though. Like let's say.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a response that would go down easier.
Yes. All you have to say is. It's not a lie if they said our dev cycles are longer than what they used to be, so we have to pay these people for an extra 2 years to work on this game. Like, I mean, look at the games like fucking GTA 6 taking 7 years to make. Of course, the cost to make it goes up. So you can say, okay, well, we have to charge more to make up for it, on the back end. So the point is this: like, this is not the guy you want talking to people like this. This is not. You don't want to compare yourself with buying a fucking Genesis game 35 years ago, working in an ice cream parlor. That's not where we're at with things. Say it just isn't. Like yes, I paid $75 for Street Fighter 2 back in 92 on Super Nintendo. I absolutely did. At the fucking Capcom World in the mall. So yes, games have been expensive before.
It was just in the past when it was possible to then start producing them for cheaper.
Yes.
They did for a little bit, and now it's just we want more money.
Well, yeah, and now the big thing now is there's no difference between physical and digital anyway, which we'll talk about later with the Switch stuff, with the game cards and stuff. So yeah, so just not a good thing you want to say. Just not cool with that. Yeah. What else is going on?
Playdate Season 2 came out. And I have not played it because I am on my second Playdate that now has a problem.
Uh-oh.
And I like the Playdate.
So for the record, your first one was the little yellow piece on the gear.
And now my second one, the right D-pad is like it doesn't register every time I hit it. Basically, the right button is faulty.
Is it? Are you able to open up a Playdate by yourself or no?
No. And when I looked online, that's actually kind of a common problem. So. I love the Playdate. I have championed it. I like a lot of the games. I like a lot of the developers on there. I think it's an awesome system, and I would say that if you were to look at playtime, like if they have tracking, I'm probably in the top 10% of Playdate users.
It's 12,000 hours for you.
There are some games on there that I like the Mahjong game,
sure.
And some of the puzzle games that I have played a long time. That thing's gotten me through a lot. But I don't know. The quality control is not great, and this season 2.
Well, it came out. I didn't realize it was coming out. I think I checked randomly a month ago, and then I think I told you, there's a season 2 coming. And I talked to someone else. Like, I had no idea. Like, where was this going to be announced? Like, you have at least a 50 to 60,000 user base. That how many people know this was even coming out?
Right. So here's the thing, and like I said, I'm not trying to sound mean or awful. Love the Playdate. Loved the games in Season 1. But the rollout of the Playdate, to me, looking back on it, has been a little bit of a disaster. And part of it is because they made a product that people wanted. The biggest problem, I think, is that they got inundated with orders and did not, and possibly because it was during COVID, did not have a way to scale up that manufacturing. Mm-hmm. They all could not be shipped out at once, which, as we've talked about before, completely ruins the fun of doing the season
at the same time.
Right. The fact that you have to wait to unlock the games if you get a Playdate now just doesn't make any sense to me. The fun should have been everyone had the Playdate and went through the season together like you do a season of TV. You know, so that everyone's talking about the same thing each week. A season 2 could have fixed that, but they had to spend the next 2 years shipping out orders. I mean, I don't think people remember that. It took like a year and a half for them to ship out all of those original orders.
Sure, there was battery issues. They had to replace that. One of the batteries was just dead.
And they had so many orders, and they were like, production can't, keep up.
They weren't prepared.
They didn't
have the infrastructure set up.
So, they finally got all that. They set up the online store. There's a lot of good games and neat stuff on there. But I feel like after season 1, they're only promoting and advertising to the customer base they have.
I would even argue that. Because, like I said, I didn't know about it until I found it by accident.
I mean, if you follow them on social media or something, you'll see that stuff. But
sure,
you would think that something that had such buzz when it came out, there would have been bigger buzz around this season 2.
Sure.
And I would love to play these games at some point. I feel like I shouldn't have to go through, the process to get a third Playdate.
So this is my issue. My issue is all about the dock, the Playdate stereo dock.
Right, which is the other part of this.
This to me is not insignificant. This is why. I talked to someone else about this too. The dock was not the main reason I got a Playdate. It was a substantial reason why I got the Playdate.
Sure.
The stereo dock, which they announced originally, was to be basically a little Bluetooth little hub with a speaker on it, with like 2 speakers and a cute little pen holder that you would put on your desktop, and it would have basically picture like a little rudimentary MP3 sort of player like layout in the front and play your music.
And I think it was supposed to be music and then like a screensaver sort of thing.
Just a little kitschy thing so that it has a separate second use. I thought that was so interesting and such a great way to upsell a product that I would buy, because if you're not going to play it, it has use to you still almost every day if you wanted to. Just even as a little fucking clock sitting there.
A little tchotchke.
A little tchotchke playing with this cute little 2 speakers, a little tune.
Yeah.
Something that you would maybe have on your desk in like the fucking 80s. Or, it's something stupid. And then they quietly went from saying, well, it's delayed, to they quietly killed it on the website with this article when I checked.
Well, the thing is it wasn't quiet. People kept asking about it. And they kept saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. I mean. And then boom, this. Like there was no lead up to it. I think they sold the illusion for too long.
Correct. So because I would ask the reps at these events I go to, like, hey, is this still coming? You would say, yes, it's still coming. So basically they gave, and this is absolutely something I would not have done. Speaking of PR, I would not have gone down into this amount of detail on their site explaining explicitly why it's not coming. Basically, they had issues with their partner that they thought could manufacture it, and they can't. They cannot. So to me, before you would not just announce it and be taking people's money for the console that is.
Wait, this thing that you linked says, will it arrive someday? We still hope so. So
will it arrive anytime soon? Unlikely. So
okay, so this to me is just them kicking the can further, but okay.
But in my opinion, if it's not out, we're like 3.5 years into this.
Well, yes, I don't think this is going to happen either. So my problem is
your problem is they're saying unlikely?
They just say it's not coming.
Well, when did the first one ship? Was it mid-21 or mid-22?
I'm going to say 21, but I could.
So we'll just say we'll cut it in half. We're 3.5 years into it, and we still don't have the dock. We're not going to get it probably if we don't have it by now. I'm going to bet that we won't. So they basically assume that their partner can do it and they can't. So just to end on the Playdate real quick, it's a shame. It's a smaller company, as you alluded to, that these things happen. It's just a shame because like my enthusiasm for the product would have been a little bit less had I known this would never come out. I talked to one person that said this was like one of the main reasons they got a Playdate was for the dock. So
I just in general with Playdate, I love the system when it's working and there's no issues. Like I've had some of my most fun playing games, some of the most interesting and novel stuff. I've really enjoyed it. Like I said earlier when we started this segment, I have played a shitload of Playdate.
Oh yeah, you're Mr. Playdate.
And so it kind of bums me to not to kind of feel like I do about it, but it's true, and I have to say that.
Sure.
I want to play season 2, but in my personal experience, the build quality just never got there.
Yeah, and my problem still is I can't turn the thing off. So I don't want. I want less, recharge cycles on the battery. If I could shut it off when I'm not using it for a month or two, that'd be great. Like that's only.
Well, just let the battery drain.
You're not supposed to on batteries.
No,
it harms it overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're supposed to charge. You're not supposed to charge something to its 100%.
20 to 80.
Yeah,
20 to
or
80.
10 to 90. The range. Like, and some devices are smart enough to cut it off, but I don't know if the Playdate has that tech in it where it would cut off. State of Play happened the day the Switch came out, I believe. So I don't know if that was Sony twisting the knife at Nintendo, or maybe they had it and they couldn't stop the day. I don't know, but the big thing from it was the James Bond game. I think 007 First Light was announced.
Actually, I think that's where Tokon Fighting Souls was announced.
That was the first announcement? Okay.
I think that was announced at State of Play, not Summer Games Fest.
So that's going to come out next year. It looks like your standard modern behind the shoulder third person sort of shooting game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about the game, but it looks okay. I don't know. This article at PrestigeOnline.com says it looks like it's similar mechanics to Hitman. So yeah, it's like a semi prequel. It's like Bond first starting out as an agent.
Bond year 1.
I guess they didn't really talk about like what he did in the Navy. Remember Bond was a commander in the Navy. So what did he do to become a commander? That's pretty high up. I don't know. I want to see him on the 7 seas. I don't know. But they mentioned how his parents died in it. So that is a good reference. Often how his parents died in a mountain climbing accident. But in this one, they said that he was there when it happened. I don't know if that's part of the lore, but I haven't read the novels. So there you go.
Surprised.
They announced in Microsoft Handheld officially. Well, they have details now, and people are actually like putting their hands on first impressions.
So it's a Microsoft Xbox branded ROG Ally that will basically have.
Well, there's 2 different ones, by the way. There's a regular one and there's an upgraded one you can get.
And the ROG Ally has been out. The big difference with this one is it's going to be. I believe you can still use SteamOS on it, but it's going to be using Windows as its operating system. If you buy the Microsoft one, it's going to be using Windows, and apparently it's going to basically the dashboard is going to take over the full screen. Windows will be running in the background, but they said it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be kind of like a light version of Windows. Not everything is loading up at once. The backgrounds aren't loading up certain, I think, system sounds and things like that.
This version article says you can still launch the full versions of Windows Desktop if you want.
Yes. But the one that it boots into is
a light version.
A light version. So you are meant to use this as, basically a portable Xbox Game Pass, machine. And I'll say this: putting the Microsoft name on a ROG Ally will probably advertise to many more people than it not having the Xbox name on it, that there are competitors to the Steam Deck. And I think competition in that area is pretty important. I don't know that this is necessarily going to sell like gangbusters, though, because Steam is, no matter what Epic wants to do or what other people say, Steam is, I think the de facto, games marketplace. It's where people buy their games and all that. And if it's, and even though everything I've read suggests that you can obviously take Steam games and load them onto something like this and play them still. Sure. I think the average consumer buying something like this is going to take the easy way and go, all of my PC games are on Steam, so I'm just going to buy the Steam Deck.
Sure, they just see them branding. And it's like one to one. Might as well do that.
Well, right, because it will be the least amount of work to just pull the thing out of the box, turn it on,
especially if you had
and
a Steam
start playing.
account. You have a Steam account for 15 years. It's
And
like,
at this point, because it's been the dominant, platform in the PC.
You're in the ecosystem.
You've been in the ecosystem for so long that even if you can play all the games on an Xbox branded ROG Ally, the fact that you have to think about porting those games over, or, like I said,
it's less fidgeting.
It may be very easy to do, but very easy versus no work whatsoever. That's still a choice people are going to make.
Yeah, because it sounds like on this you'd have to boot into Windows, then go to your Steam account, load it up, and play. It won't be like out of the box booted up.
Right.
So you can still do it. It's just not, hey, I can play my Xbox game in 20 seconds versus I got to boot the Windows now, log into my Steam account, load it up, play. Like, it's at that point, it's just a PC.
And what it comes down to is this is the direction I kind of would have expected Microsoft to go, because Microsoft, I mean, all that talk about Microsoft making a portable when it was like just the Xbox portable, I was like, there's no fucking way.
Sure.
They can't even sell consoles. Why would they make an Xbox portable? But basically licensing and branding someone else's product, sure, that makes sense.
Because you don't have all the R&D. They're working out a sweetheart deal probably for all the units, and it's like we're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
We have something that works already. We can put it out to a lot less risk.
If this wasn't meant for games, they would brand it a Windows something or another. It's games, so they're going to brand it an Xbox something.
I don't know much about the Asus thing. That this is basically.
I've heard they're good.
I'm sure there are, but Microsoft has the marketing power that they don't.
Sure.
Microsoft and Xbox. Well, there's probably a lot of Microsoft players that don't know about the Asus one even existing. They'll know now that this exists. Well, so it's a win-win for both companies.
Well, and that's what I said at the beginning. I think it's good overall just because it will tell people that there are other options in this space, and then maybe, that could help bring prices down.
This also could be someone like me where I might be able to then jump in and say, oh, I see some of these Xbox games that I want to play in the PC. I would never buy a standalone console, but maybe the handheld would be a nice 1-2 punch with it. Just when I'm at home, I'll play on the PC. When I'm on the go, I'll get the handheld. Like it's a different avenue versus being locked into a console sitting on my TV that I don't want to deal with.
Right. It devil's advocate a little bit just in terms of it, a possible vector for success with it is, I mentioned how Steam is easy for people moving from PC, but this could appeal to people more on the console side.
Yes.
But the problem still with that is only people on the console side who are with Microsoft, and that is progressively less and less. I could see this being if there's a Microsoft fan out there who loves the Xbox and has like all of their games on it and has, had the 360 and the One in the series, this is like perfect for them. Because it's the exact flip of being in the Steam ecosystem. Yeah,
we don't know what these cost yet. Do we know what these cost? We look up what the other one costs, right?
ROG Allies, I think, they're cheaper than Steam Decks, I think.
I was going to say, because the Steam Decks can get pricey quick if you want the
They are finally starting to come down, but ROG Allies are $500.
$500.
But here's one at Sam's Club for $380.
So I saw there's going to be two versions. I believe one's going to offer more hard drive space. Obviously, that's what they always do with these.
Usually a better screen too.
So
I know that Steam has regular LCD and OLED ones.
Yeah, I guess this is more. Not saying this is the more casual version of the Steam Deck, but the fact that it's Windows based. If I'm used to having the Microsoft interface on here. Like if I'm a person like not involved with Steam or Xbox, I would probably be more likely to buy this. I'm not saying buy a huge margin, but a familiarity saying, oh, I can boot into Windows. Just having that alone, without having to learn a Linux Steam OS or whatever.
I just feel like that's kind of been Microsoft's thing, though. Yeah. Like they keep trying to do stuff like Windows, so try this, but it doesn't work.
Well, I mean if you
Windows Phone, Surface, Microsoft Surface, I know, but even the Microsoft Surface, that never people's familiarity with Windows never seems to translate over to success in their other products.
But this is basically a computer, though, too. So this is basically a handheld computer. So this is where it could work.
Sure, but with joysticks and a D-pad and.
I'm just saying this is a little bit. There's something here.
I don't.
There's something here. I'm not saying this is going to be a success or failure. I don't think this is going to bomb. This is going to sell, I think. I just don't know how well. I don't know. It's something interesting. The fact that there's no risk for that, or smaller risk, is very, very fucking interesting and smart.
Man.
Well, because how much has Sony tried and failed on their iterations of different handhelds? There's like 5 different ones that we have not heard of.
I literally dusted a thick layer of dust off my Vita case over the weekend and hacked it.
There you go.
I was just like,
and then we forgot about the one that came out that's just a streaming handheld.
Well, I wouldn't call that. I would call that a glorified controller.
But still,
yes.
So Sony keeps banging their head against it, and Microsoft's like, you know what? Something already exists. Let's slap our fucking Xbox logo on it and give it a go. That to me is like probably the best case scenario they could have done. It's like, hey, let's just slap our logo on it. We'll put our own new streamlined OS on top, and we'll probably hook some people to get it. Like it's smart, if nothing else. It's smart. I'm smart. I'm not dumb, like people say.
All right. Well, that was about an hour-long intro. So
50 minutes. We're good. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Xbox Retro Classics that were announced real quick.
Oh, I saw someone playing them, and they were not like, it was not a ideal way to play anything.
I believe 3 stars rated on Xbox.com, 3 out of 5 stars
on the company website. Yeah.
So
not good.
This is the same. I think probably the same stuff you get on like Antstream, I believe. You're gonna get a bunch of like hodgepodge retro stuff from different generations.
MechWarrior 2 is on there. I want to play MechWarrior 2.
It is retro. That's like, was that 94?
Yeah.
MechWarrior 2.
Sorry, I've been all robots all the time lately.
Sierra published that, right? Was that a Sierra published?
No, that was Activision.
That was Activision.
Activision published those games up until they published 2 and all the expansions, and then it went to Microsoft starting with 3. That's why it's on there. Microsoft has the license now.
Sierra had their own one, though. It was called something else. They had their own mech series that came out around there.
Did they?
I believe so. Okay, here's the full list. What I hate about these collections, like when you go to Microsoft's site, you cannot get a list of games. Oh, developed by Antstream. So this is literally like the Antstream service ported over onto the. Okay, Ian's not. Ian's
and
like
it's
crying.
Streaming. I don't think you download these.
You can't download these small. You can't download. You can't download checkers and chopper commands.
Like the day it happened, I saw many people on Blue Sky complaining about like all sorts of issues.
This is an insane variety. I don't. Like, what does this cost? This might actually be a good value, but like, who's going to want to play something like Enduro and then MechWarrior 2 and then Space Quest 6? Like, these are not...
Actually, you're kind of targeting me right here.
Outside of this weirdo, the weirdos that had the 5200 and like the 90s PC games, Title Match Pro Wrestling is like a one-off, game that no one remembers that was on...
I have the 2600 version, I think.
And then you get Zork 1 and Zork 0, which, what? Like, this is Star Voyager?
It's
Robot Tank? This is a strange Atari games, 90s PC games. Freddie Parkas is on here? Frontier Pharmacist? That's Dynamics, right?
No, Freddie Farkas was Sierra, I think.
That wasn't... well, Dynamics became an imprint.
Yes.
Let's see.
Freddie Farkas.
A Sierra Online. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
So you have Sierra games, old Activision games, 90s Activision games. Police Quest is on here. More Sierra. What? This might. If this is like $10, I would buy it.
Yeah, but my understanding is the stuff doesn't run very well. This is just one of those things where, like, and I hate this these days. Look at all we're giving you, and it's literally they just open a closet full of all the fucking licenses they stuff in there.
Well, yeah,
and expect you to be happy with it.
You get Commando, but what version of Commando is it? Is it the PC? IBM is probably 2600 or Commodore 64. It's a Cosmic Arcs on here, so you get like a bunch of like third party. 2600 games on here. You get Atlantis. You get some iMagic stuff. I just have never seen a retro game collection that has such a disparate like list of things that.
It's because Antstream's doing it. It's not value. It's here's all the shit we could shovel into a bowl for you.
But it could be value. But I don't know who this is going to appeal to. Where it's like, hey, I want to get my dragster fix.
Right, it's not specific enough.
It's not specific enough. But then it has Quest for Glory 1. And these are good games.
Yes, they are.
It's just that the fact
that
they
run well.
This collection doesn't make sense.
No.
There's almost no one out there that's going to play have interest in even half of these games.
They could curate those collections into smaller
Yes.
collections with a snappy name and charge the same amount, and people would buy them.
If you just dug out, we'll just say
3D PC action game simulators. Just do that, or
no.
do point and click adventure games.
If you dragged out all the Activision and Sierra and even the Zork PC ones, you have like
made an adventure game
cool
pack.
like 12 volume set and charge 10 or 15 bucks. That might sell better than this.
That's what I'm saying.
Collection.
Because it's the focus. No one wants to look through this list, and when they do look through a list like this,
this list has Activision prototype number 1 on it. What the hell does that mean? It's just called Activision prototype number 1. That's not how you want to market this stuff.
my issue with it is if you sell a person this for say $10, or you sell the person what you said for $10. They're more likely to do that, even though this has more, because you look through it, and when you're looking through the entirety of something for $10, and you're like, okay, I only want to play these 10 games out of 100. Well, it doesn't seem to. It seems like a ripoff.
We buried the lead. This is part of Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's not marketed correctly. This is all stuff that Activision has the rights to. I always forget Activision has all the rights to the Sierra stuff. So this is probably the first time they've done stuff with Space Quest or Police Quest in forever.
This is low effort slop that we're supposed to thank them for.
I'm not saying we're supposed to thank them. This is just the strangest. I almost would have more respect for them if they broke these down into like 10 sets of $5 each, like $1 each, and you pick put the consoles together at least.
Okay. We have got to get out of the intro.
Well, this could be a standalone segment with the handheld.